I don't feel old. And yes, anybody that's younger than 30 looks at me and thinks I'm old. I get it, but I don't feel it. Yet there are times that my body decides to remind me, but you are.
Yeah. This is the loud, quiet, living the empty nest.
Hey, buddy. Welcome back to The Loud Quiet. This is episode 47. Here we are, approaching 50, like a lot of empty nesters are or are approaching 50. So our episodes are creeping up closer and closer to our actual ages.
As I say, we've already crossed. Or one of us has crossed 50.
Oh, I like how you're hanging on to that. Okay,
no,
you haven't crossed it.
I am.
That's right.
I am 50 right now, so I guess I have technically crossed 50, but whatever. That stuff doesn't bother me.
No, and that's why it's easy to joke about in our house,
yes,
for sure.
So here we are, 47. It's been a ride these past few months, I guess. Now that we're already approaching August. Last week we were excited. We got our empty nest groove back, and then of course this week we about killed ourselves getting Tanner's apartment ready for him. He's on his way home today.
That's right, on his second day of his drive home. And to be clear, in the killed ourselves, this was not, well, I guess there were a few emotional moments, but this was physical.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know you are. I'm
physically.
re-emphasizing the point of, okay, I don't feel old. And yes, anybody that's younger than 30 looks at me and thinks I'm old. I get it, but I don't feel it. Yet there are times that my body decides to remind me, but you are.
Yeah. Well, and thank goodness we hired movers.
You know what?
I mean, there would have been no way.
Let's drop that brand name in here because they were spectacular. No sponsorship again, but
Are
Einstein.
They only in Dallas? Sorry.
And Austin.
Okay.
And maybe other places, maybe Florida too. Einstein Movers.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Excellent.
Great experience. From purchasing to the move to the post-purchase. Brilliant.
I mean, they had the things moved to the truck, wrapped, down at Tanner's apartment. They showed up here at 8:30. They were unloaded at his apartment by 11 o'clock. I mean, it was
and even
crazy.
Things like we were introduced to our movers by name ahead of time, had a bio written about them. This company is clearly trying to make some sort of change. So this is not the episode about Einstein moving, but
it was very good. So
and we had even for half a second said, well, I got a truck. We can move stuff.
You did.
Okay.
I did not.
Well, it was only a half a second. Yeah. Holy cow. There's no way that dresser could have gotten up that steep, incredibly narrow stairway.
I couldn't have got it down ours, which is curved. Yeah. there were too many obstacles.
Even these guys that are strong had some trouble. Yeah. I heard some S-bombs. That's that piece of
furniture. They were great.
Was
so if you are in an area that you need a move for that, they were excellent Einstein movers. So, but yeah, we were discussing, as we usually do, what we wanted to talk about this episode, and we were tossing some things back and forth, and we came to realize that maybe we need to talk about optimism. And I love this. I love this picture of the optimism with the trapeze elephant is getting caught by a tiny monkey.
Hey, so, the elephant believes it.
Yeah, and the monkey does too. I mean, so that you know what? That's actually a good little, there's times where one or the other has to push on the optimism side, but
between you and me,
but
absolutely.
But this I like because they're probably both in tune with. I'm gonna catch this big elephant. Yeah. This monkey's got me, So that's actually a good kind of.
And there's, this is we're not gonna get.
We'll start our therapy session early.
That's right. We're not gonna talk about manifesting or that kind of stuff. But there is so much truth to your own personal belief and optimism as to how it affects the actual reality that comes about. And I'm not talking about some esoteric. It just, if you're optimistic about it, a lot of times you'll put the belief and actions towards making it happen.
And I think has actually become a bigger focus for a lot of people now.
Sure.
And, I know a lot of people, say if you put it out into the universe, which, we consider our universe putting it out to God. But whatever your spiritual beliefs are, I do agree with you. I think that if you want something and, I believe in manifestation. I think that you need help from others and from a higher power. But I do believe that if you change that mindset, you can achieve it.
Yeah, I don't, and see, I hesitate because there's some of the podcasts that I listen to as well that talk about that quite a bit, and I'm not all the way there because even they will be the first to say, well, I'm manifesting a cheeseburger, and of course that doesn't happen,
sure.
right?
It's not everything.
However, there's physical proof in the athletic world when golfers talk about, no, I visualize the entire course and I'm imagining success on every hole. A batter's imagining hitting the ball of all the sports. And so there is something about tuning and honing yourself and your mentality towards a positive bent, which, okay, it's an Empty Nest podcast. That's really important. What do we talk about when we talk about Inside Out 2? I mentioned that I thought that one of the emotions that should show up is, I can't even remember what I call cynicism. Cynicism.
Yeah.
Well, optimism is the antidote to cynicism.
Yeah. And I do think our minds, just the way they're wired, whether that be from an outside source or what, is geared towards the negative.
I think it's something in our evolution in that, okay, there's all this positive stuff around me in the savannah, but there's the one negative thing, so I need to focus on that because it's going to eat or kill me. It's funny we're talking about, we didn't plan this.
No, I know.
On LinkedIn yesterday, someone had posted about why is it that we focus on the negative, and someone does all of his talks, and he puts 4 simple multiplication, 1 times 3, 1 times 4, 1 times 5, 1 times 6, and he gets one of them wrong by design. And he says, okay, so what y'all notice about that? 100% of the people point out the negative, not the fact that he got 75% of them right.
It reminds me here. I'll dumb it down a little bit because but you no. I mean, you went to a business podcast. I'll take it to Frasier because I just always think of him on
Frasier's one of those intellectual ones out there.
But TV show, as my life always goes back to TV, is when he's riding the bike and he doesn't know how to ride the bike and he's in the middle of the huge street, but there's that tree and he is so focused on that tree, and what does he do? Slams right into the tree. So,
oh my gosh, I hope I can. I'm going to try to find a clip and drop that in.
It's that sycamore. It's got a magnetic hold on me.
That's because you keep focusing on it. Whatever you do, put it out of your mind. The more you think about it, the worse it gets.
I love that.
I mean, even, what meme did I send Tanner when we were going down to, get his apartment ready was, the pivot scene from Friends.
Pivot!
Which, thank goodness, again, we didn't have to pivot with that couch. But yeah, so, we just thought that we'd talk about optimism because this has been the bummer summer.
It's a bummer summer.
It has been
if you choose to make
bummer
it so,
summer for us, people we know. I mean, you on top of, I got sick, you got sick, you got pink eye this week. I mean, it's just.
I manifested the ultimate of what can I. Let's see. Let me try to get a sickness that I haven't had since elementary school.
I mean, it's just been. And Ashley and I told her the other day, I said, it's just the summer of death almost. And it's not even all physical deaths, but your mom passed. Our friends that we talked about in several podcasts ago, their child went missing. Their college-age child went missing. They have now discovered that, yes, he had a tragic death. That they had to wait for 4 months to get some sort of closure. And the way that I've seen both them and the grandmother, who happens to be very good friends with my parents, handle it on Facebook is where I've seen their optimism blows me away. They're turning this into a way to help other people. It's just been incredible. Our neighbors are going through something right now that no one would want to be going through. I mean, it's just, it has been just a bummer summer. And so yesterday I was like, we need some and not everything has been bad. We had a great time.
Oh my gosh.
Doing
if
Tanner's
anyone looked at the outside in, we've
Yeah.
had a fantastic summer at times. And I think that goes back to the mentality that we were talking about. And that is, it's what do you choose to focus on? And we're talking about our personal life or the things that intersect us as persons. I find myself that I have to take a news diet. I've always loved the news. Heck, in college, I was the kid that got the New York Times thrown at his college door, right? And so I'm finding myself that I have to take a news fast. Some people talk about social media fast because, and it sells, I get it. So much of what you read there is negative because you don't report the positive news. Yeah, a dog was found today. That's not news. And so it's what you choose to sort of ingest and what you are experiencing around you just as the natural occurrence of life seems to have been very weighty.
I think that goes back to what you said. What did you say? It's been the evolution of our mentality. Is that we don't always like it when good things are going on for other people.
Gosh, I hope you're wrong.
I know, but that goes back to why is the first story on the newspaper something horrible, tragic, instead of the dog being found?
Yeah. If it bleeds, it leads, and there's a reason.
What is the highest rated podcast genre?
True crime.
True crime. I mean, I don't.
I don't listen to that, but yeah,
I don't either. I've listened to a couple of them because they had to do with things in our area, but I don't. But that would be a very interesting study on where did that shift happen that we got so wound up in wanting other people to fail in spite of lifting each other up. I don't know.
I'm frozen. I don't have an answer for you. I guess that's.
If anyone out there has the answer, please let us know. Why?
Spotify has comments now, so please put your comments there on the YouTube channel. Why do people hate people?
Yeah, it's an
now I feel like we're doing a Depeche Mode song.
So that is why we wanted to focus on. Let's get some optimism flowing, some good, just.
Well, and it's to the point of what do we choose to focus on. I will say that, and man, it's an empty nest podcast. I don't want to always talk about the kids, but that's what we did the last week was getting his apartment. And yes, what did we actually lead with, even talking about the apartment? We led with, my gosh, we're so exhausted. It physically wore us out, as opposed to, let's talk about what we did yesterday after we finished. I pulled you beside me, put my arm around you briefly until we were both like, wait, this is way too hot. But had my arm around you and I said, let's just look at this. Let's just enjoy this for a moment because it looked so neat. And we were excited to know that this has been prepared as a sort of a welcome back and a chance for Tanner to start his next chapter in his life. We didn't lead with that. And so it's a choice. And I think it's important. I think it's important all throughout life. I think it's especially important as an empty nester because you have so much life lived that you can look back and do you choose to recall the negative or do you choose to recall the positive and use that to feed the optimism of what you're focused on right now?
That's an interesting question. Let me say, we're both, so excited to show Tanner's apartment because we're just really excited for him. That's an interesting question. When you recall things, do you recall good thing or it's those negative? I mean, it's the little balls in Inside Out, the negative balls. Oh, let's kick that out of here. But then they pile up.
I don't know that if you're asking me, Rick, or the general, I don't know that I can speak to the general you, but the me, Rick part, it depends. It really depends. A lot of times, and it didn't used to be this way, and this is perhaps a little longer point that I'm getting to, but a lot of times when people talk about, when I think about trips, I think about the memories. I think about the positive. I think about the great meals. I think about the great views. I think about the great things that we saw, did, experienced, felt, I really do focus on the positive. But I know that wasn't always the case, because frequently, what do people, when you ask them, how was your trip? Oh man, it was a great trip, but you wouldn't believe how long our flight was delayed. Well, I don't care about your flight.
Yeah.
What was your meal?
Yeah.
And so in that case, when it comes to things like perhaps jobs or other aspects of life, no, maybe I may find myself trending more towards the negative. I remember the end of a job at JCPenney perhaps more so than I remember the absolute delight that I still can visualize it, sitting there in the pool at the Intercontinental in Hong Kong, thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm in Hong Kong because of a job.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just
What about you?
interesting.
All right, I'm going to turn the
I
question
don't know,
to you.
but first of all, I have to do this. There, that goes. You can leave that in, because that right there shows. No. Oh, okay. Yes. Sorry, lined up with the wood.
That won't mean anything to y'all in audio.
No, the microphone was in the wrong. Our little prop mic that our nephew gave us was in the wrong spot, so I had to fix it. And that just reminds me of yesterday when I'd gone.
Oh my gosh!
I had done everything, gotten all the little decorative pieces put where I wanted. And I went into his bedroom. I said, "Who moved this little succulent?"
Yeah,
we were like,
Monica.
"It's in the right spot." I was like, "No, it's not." So,
and I can assure you, here's what I did: I lifted plant up in air with my right hand. In my left hand, I had the wipe. I wiped and I set the plant down.
It was not in the same spot. Anyways, we're not going to get in, but we did survive that
Monica,
without getting into
middle
big
name
fights.
Geller.
So, I don't know. I think probably like you, it depends on the situation. There's definitely memories that pop up that make you feel, but I think of myself as a positive person, but I don't know. Maybe I'm definitely, the cynicism word definitely has infiltrated our lives even more so in the past, I'd say, year.
Right.
So I don't know. I probably need to work on that a little bit and be a little more positive.
I will tell you, those are elements that are conversations that are part of my therapy conversations, is try to understand, what is it about me that wants to have this sort of perfect picture in place, and what is it about me that needs to have all that that little piece of negativity or whatever is where the focus is. So there's elements there.
So thinking about the different aspects of the summer, Tanner is dealing with, he just left his home that he's been for 4 years. And that is probably in some sense like a death. He's leaving.
He will be grieving
that
loss.
life has ended, and now he is getting ready to start the next chapter.
Yeah.
But he did, to spin it into a very nice, loving. He sent us this text at, again.
What are you about to do? You're about to tell the negative of it.
Okay, but it was 4:20 in the morning. Luckily, hey, here, I'll spin it. I was already awake, so I had been for a while. So
he had said, and yes, 4:17 a.m. I apologize for texting this early for y'all, but I just paged through the picture book Tegan made for me before I started at ASU, and I'm genuinely sobbing. I love this family so much. And it hurts to leave my faux family I've made in Arizona, but I can't wait to see y'all.
Yeah. So that was a very nice text to receive. And it's nice to be appreciated by your children.
Absolutely. And that's exactly that of, those are the things to focus on. Those are the memories that we could spend our energy around. You and I have certainly grumbled end to end about the insanity of, it seems like, of the drivers out there. Well, maybe I should stop focusing on that and just remember that I've got a family that seems to love each other really, really well, and that's not a given. And
no.
I'm so thankful that we have that.
And yesterday, we the parents made a little uh-oh. And so we had to have a security officer let us into Tanner's apartment.
We left the clicker in Frisco. I'll just say it.
So
we were trapped.
And we were telling him, we're his parents, we're helping. And he even said, man, it's so nice to see good parents helping their kids out.
Yeah.
You don't know his story. You don't know anybody's story. So when even the guy checking me out at home was like, oh, is this for your, place? And I said, oh, no, we're, getting our son's apartment furnished. And he said, man, that's so awesome that y'all are doing that. And I said, he has made us want to do that. If I don't know that I would be doing all of this for a child who wasn't necessarily.
Oh, sure. If they weren't appreciative or if they weren't, part of
on the
connected
path
with family,
that he's on.
Yeah, absolutely. So you would approach that differently. And even as difficult as it was, this is sort of where we realized how we do have a great family unit, in that even when we were dealing with the security aspect of it, you and I both thought, my gosh, we're having to go through such hoops. We're his parents. And I forget who it was. One of us had the epiphany of, well, wait, he's an adult now. We know that we have a positive relationship with this adult child of ours that wants us in the apartment and wants us doing that. Not necessarily. Right. There's a lot of kids that are just young adults or adults that will be like, hell no, don't you let my parents in my apartment. And
as inconvenient as it was for us, we were glad to see, okay, good. There is... It is high security to be let in. So
yeah, I would say so.
Though, and I just had a thought as we were talking, and as I was talking about the positive reinforcement we've gotten from random people, I've been getting a little bit of judginess from people that I know about, you're doing this all, It's interesting. I just had that thought that these random people that I don't even know think that it's great and that we're so loving and kind, and then people that I do know are being a little judgy about it.
Is it because they think that we're stunting his independence?
I don't know if it's that as much as we are setting him up nicely. I'll just say it that way.
Well, and first of all, it's nobody else's business but our own.
What did they say today? Stay on your own. Yeah, look at your own paper. Uh-huh.
I've had similar thoughts about that. Are we over-indexing on setting him up too well? Are we over-indexing on not? We're doing it, not him. That sort of stuff. For me, it definitely comes back to he just physically wasn't here, and there's not the time, and so there's either we do it or he somehow stumbles into law school without an apartment. So. I've come to that comfort level. Regardless, that's a discussion between you and me.
Right.
So nobody else needs to offer their opinion. Well, they can offer their
opinion.
I don't have to listen.
But I just had that thought. That's an interesting... So.
Are you going to stay optimistic about it?
I'm totally optimistic. I can't wait for him to see his apartment and how it is. I would move into that apartment right now.
What are you saying?
No. I would move into that apartment with you.
Oh, thanks. Nice save. Well done, Clancy. There was a lot of delight. No, I don't want to talk about it too much more, but there was a lot of delight in your eyes with the shopping and the buying the things and setting it up and making sure that, yes, that succulent was in the... I can't even say the word. I don't even know what a succulent is. I think it's these things, right?
Yes. So yeah, but it gave us a chance, again, when you're in a smaller space with one person for 8 to 10 hours in the day, it gave us a chance to start talking about some things and talking about where we see our future.
And so we've spent a lot of time here over the last few weeks talking about kids. Well, that's because it's summer, they've been around, and the transitions that we're a part of. We talked about getting the groove back. We also, in less than a month, will be back to, there's only 2 people and our daughter's cat living in this house. And Yeah, he's around here somewhere, I think. That's where we started talking about, do we want to do something? Like, we started this podcast as a way to just stay connected. Well, something that people do, and you can hear the hesitation in my voice, it's like, or trepidation, is, what if we went into business together? And there's a couple of business ideas that one that's related to what I do today, and it's being kind of helping events and conferences amplify their experience through podcasting. And so I'd be the podcaster there. Well, there's a need to have people work with that as well, not just the person behind the microphone. Well, there's a thought of having you play a part in that, and you and I go into business together with this event podcasting idea. And then there's this podcast itself and what that could look like, and how we might be able to grow some things to be able to help other people, like legit help, not just be entertained, but legit. Here's how to navigate this empty nest life and specific elements of it together as a business. And so, we're thinking about that as the next phase of going into business with each other. You better have a lot of optimism. Most businesses fail anyway.
Maybe that apartment will come in handy for
Most
one of us.
Most businesses fail, and then introducing the marriage component to it. This one, though, we've got there's a lot different thought behind it.
Yeah, I mean, we are at that stage right now. It's not really a fork in the road, but it's maybe downplaying certain things and elevating others. And,
which is a fork. I think it comes down to something that we've woven through a lot of these conversations, and that is the desire for something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And since we are not physically going anywhere anytime soon, I think you and I are just ready to focus our brain power on something new. Because we have enjoyed doing this so much, and you already enjoy doing, Rick has had his own podcast for, coming up on 3 years. And
already crossed that threshold. It's been, 3.5.
So,
jeez.
I think we found the thing that we enjoy. We're just trying to figure out how can we make it work for us.
Yeah.
And in the future, and we just need to
work together and stay married, right?
we've done this okay, and like I alluded to earlier, we did just basically furnish a home together and didn't kill each other. So
that included an IKEA trip, y'all,
and that included hanging curtains, which you hate. So, that included several at-home trips, which you hate as well. So, I think we did a good job.
Can we end on optimism?
No, but that's what. Well, I'm about.
I'm kidding.
So one thing that we did kind of get a little, I don't know, excited about, or it was an interesting thing that happened a few weeks ago that you were reached out to on LinkedIn and by a website.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And so babyboomer.org, babyboomer.org.
Yes.
And folks, we're not overstating this. This isn't a sponsorship. There's no monetization here.
And we are not baby boomers.
Yeah, to be very clear, we're not. Out of the blue, reached out by this organization, and it's a website out there that's got a lot of resources for baby boomers. Hey, we'd like to feature your podcast on our podcast page. We are not the only one. There are dozens, maybe even hundreds of other podcasts there. But it just made me, and then by extension, when I was able to share that with you, us, feel good about, okay, there's something here. Someone
noticed us.
Yeah. And so,
that, which always feels nice in any aspect of life.
And so we'll put babyboomer.org down there in the link. You're already listening. You're already subscribing. You're already telling your friends.
Yeah,
so
and there's our, your face is full on their little, mine's cut half.
We'll have to work on their graphics there.
Yeah, but our little podcast lives on their page, which is nice. So
it's one of those that I didn't. It really actually when I first got it, because we get all sorts of.
Yes.
This is a little bit behind the curtains, y'all. Sorry, maybe skip forward if you don't care that much about this. But we get all sorts of emails and messages around. Hey, SEO, promote your podcast.
We love your content. I can help you build.
Well, and We
trash.
love your content, The Loud Quiet. It is so nice to hear your last episode title. And so I thought this was something suspect. It turns out it was real. It's nice to just be noticed, and I appreciate being able to cross links with babyboomer.org.
We had already been in discussions about trying to make this
Kick it up a notch.
There you go. And I didn't want to use the word elevated again, but so this was a nice little, okay, maybe there is a place for us to really.
And I think too, it's not even about the monetization. I want to be very clear about that. This is about, is there an opportunity for us to engage with a community, with an audience that has already started by y'all, for us to learn from them and them to learn from us, and to build a community together around The Loud Quiet, so that all of us can live this empty nest in a way that is great.
I think at age 51 and 50, we have found what we really enjoy doing. And,
yes, as I nod.
And now that we are empty nesters, we have a little more freedom to explore what we have found that we really enjoy.
And explore and get better and do things right.
Maybe we suck at it. I don't know.
Well, we do. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Well, we do, as compared to what it'll look like 47 more episodes after this. Episode 1 was we're not professionals. We're still not, and I don't think we ever will be. But we're going to get better because we're having fun.
Yeah. And we'll see where it goes. And we love for y'all to come along on the ride with us.
And tell us where to go.
Yeah.
Kindly with optimism.
Yes, just keep sharing our podcast, as many of you do. And just, we do this for us as much as we do it for y'all too. So
yeah, we definitely started it for us. Mm-hmm. We've enjoyed making it beyond the us.
Yeah. So there you go. We'll see where it goes, and we're going to be optimistic about it.
Yay!
This has been another episode of The Loud Quiet, Living the Empty Nest.